Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to My Little Pony Friendships is Magic, the best gift ever. So this is the post-Season 8 holiday special, which is interesting that they decided to do this. Because they've had holiday episodes before, but they've been episodes in the season. They haven't done like a special like this. And it's being released just before Halloween. What's up with that? I mean, again, I know with the holiday episodes they've done before, they've been released like in the summer and stuff, but still. If they're actually doing a straight up special, why not release it in December? I mean, I think it would make more sense at that point. But oh well. I like watching... I'm one of those people who like watching Christmas stuff all year round. I don't think it has to be the season to enjoy that kind of thing. If it's a good movie or whatnot, yeah, why not? I've watched Christmas Vacation multiple times throughout the year. I've watched the Jim Carrey Grinch movie outside of Christmas time. Heck, there's been points where I've listened to Christmas music throughout the year. Until just recently, I had a song from Sia's Christmas album on my phone, and I've listened to it pretty much all year. I just only recently got rid of it, because I had stopped listening to it as actively, and I wanted to switch things up with my music on my phone, so I'm not bothered by the fact that we're having a Christmas special just before Halloween. I just think it's kind of funny. And I know some people will find it's a little weird. But either way, so yeah, this is a special. And to my knowledge, it is canon to the show. I just don't know exactly where it takes place. I would assume it's between seasons 8 and 9. But I don't know for sure. Now, this is double length as well. It's basically the length of a two-parter, which is interesting. We're basically getting a two-parter Christmas special in October. So I'm wondering why they're doing this. Now, I don't know anything about what's going to be in this. I have stayed away from spoilers. So I don't have any details about like like if there's going to be new characters or whatnot, or if there's going to be some kind of big stuff happening. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to connect to anything else. But I am excited to find out. I'm really, actually, legitimately excited about this. Almost as much as I was for the RWBY Volume 6 premiere, which I just finished recording before this. I don't know what order I'll end up uploading these in, so I don't know if you'll have seen that by the point you see this, but yeah, it's good. I'll say that much. Also, just to note, I am going somewhere in a little bit, so if these are not uploaded until late, that is why. So I do apologize ahead of time if that needs to be the case, but yeah. I also have OKKO to still record today as well, so. Either way, we're just going to get this started. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link in the description, and after you watch the reaction, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the special. So that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I'm actually kind of unsure how I feel about this. I'm actually unsure how I feel about this special. I can say with certainty it was not as good as most of the other holiday episodes. But what I'm unsure about is... Okay. I think there's three main things that make me kind of feel like this was not as great as I hoped it would be. So the first thing is that it felt really cliche. Like, normally I can live with a few cliches in there because it is MLP. It is a show marketed towards little girls. They have to do some things because of Hasbro and all. So I can live with a few things being cliche here and there. But it's like, a lot of it, like, when things started to go wrong with the gift giving and finding gifts and everything, I could tell from very early on that it was going to end up like they were all going to have trouble, and in the end, the message was going to be that friendship is the best gift of all. It is super cliche, really just... It's like, I'm not saying it's not necessarily true. But let's be honest. The entire thing at the end, like with, oh, it doesn't matter what you get them as long as you give it with love. It's like, to a degree. To a degree, that's right. As long as you live, as long as you give a gift with love, that is what is important. But it's like, if you gave like a jar of dirt, for lack of some other idea at the moment, to someone, like in real life, if you go to a family holiday party and give someone a jar of dirt, unless it's obviously meant to be a gag gift, if you're being serious about it, that's going to not go over well. If you give someone, like, a clothespin, just a random clothespin, nothing else with it, it's not going to go well. No matter how much love you give it with. You can't just say, like, oh, it doesn't matter. Because it does, in the end. When you're giving a gift, you want to give something that they will like. Or at least something nice, even if it's not something they necessarily have shown interest in or have been, like, big into. As long as it's nice and as long as they can, as there's some value in it. Like, for example, one Christmas, I think it was like 2 years ago, I want to say, not 2017, but 2016 Christmas, I believe my grandmother gave me this drawing set, this My Little Pony drawing kit. It had, like, paper, had, I think, colored pencils and stuff. I probably still have it. I just would have to find it. But that's the thing. I've never used it. I appreciated the gift because it was, it's My Little Pony based. And I have shown some slight drawing stuff, like, not any skill or anything, but I do like to occasionally draw things just for the fun of it. But I don't really have that big of an interest in it, and I'm definitely not good at it. Which is why, again, I've never used that. But I still appreciate it because it shows that my grandmother knows what I like, and that she cared enough to get me something based on something that she knows I like. See, that is fine. But if she had gotten me, like, I'm trying to think of an example. If she had gotten me, I don't know, something based on, I don't know, Littlest Pet Shop, let's say that. If she had gotten me, like, a drawing book based on Littlest Pet Shop, I probably would have been upset. I wouldn't have said anything. Of course, I'm not going to, like, I'm not one of those kind of people. But I would have probably, admittedly, been upset. Because I have no interest in Littlest Pet Shop. It doesn't appeal to me. I mean, granted, I've never seen it, so I can't say for 100% certain, but like, I definitely would have never used it at that point. There would have been no reason for her to get that for me, and it would have probably upset me a little bit. But, again, with the entire MLP thing, at least I know that she thought about it and knew it was something that I liked. So, I'm sorry, but you can't just say that it doesn't matter what you give or get or whatnot, because to a degree it does. Yes, giving your gift with love is the most important aspect of it, but that doesn't just mean you can give anything. Also, going in with this entire same issue, the entire thing with what Discord did in the end, it's like, the fact that it almost tried to make him seem like he was in the right for what he did, and even though Rainbow at the end was, when she was saying that, like, oh, you made me endanger my friend just so you could get her this gift, make her save the day or whatnot, it's like, no, that is not, that is completely right. Rainbow is right in that. Rainbow has every right to be angry. This is... It seems like every time they bring Discord in, it hurts things. It doesn't help. Rainbow was right to be angry. She unknowingly and accidentally endangered her friend because of Discord's actions. All of her friends, technically. Just so Discord could try to one-up everyone. It's just more example of Discord being an absolute asshole. An unlikable asshole. And it really just hurts that entire part of the story for me. Now, another issue I had with this episode was that, I don't know, it felt like it was trying too hard to be fan servicey. Like, here's the thing. Let's compare it to Slice of Life from season 5. Slice of Life is just so obnoxiously fan servicey, you could say, but it was the 100th episode, and it was made for the sole purpose of giving back to the fans who had done so much to help the show keep going and had been just such an empowering force. It was made to be fan servicey because it was literally a gift back to the fans as the 100th episode of the show. It was a big deal. So when it's in that kind of situation, that's fine. But while this was a holiday special and everything, it felt like it was trying too hard. While I loved stuff like Derpy talking again, which I think is long overdue, by the way, while I loved Grandpair showing up, the Pie Sisters being in there, and various other things throughout, it felt like they were trying too hard to make this like Slice of Life, but not as heavy with it. It felt like they were trying to make just this big special for the fans, but it didn't come across as natural. It felt more like they were trying way too hard. Unlike with Slice of Life, which felt like a love letter to the fandom, this one feels like a forced... It feels like fan service. Instead of a love letter to the fandom, it just feels like straight up forced, unnecessary fan service. Now, not all of it was bad, and not all of it needed to be fixed or anything, but there was a lot that really could have been taken out or tweaked in a little bit, in a few ways, I feel. And then there were some things that just, I feel could have even been added in. There's one thing that I would, with all of this fan service, if they're going to do all of that, there was one thing I really think they should have done. You notice who didn't appear in this episode at all? At least not that I saw. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But at least from what I saw, they did not appear in this episode at all. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. I'm not letting this go, people. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon haven't had any real appearances since season 5, since their redemption. And if the show creators were trying to make this a fan servicey episode, they couldn't have at least done that? Even just a noteworthy appearance? Grandpair had a noteworthy appearance. The Pie family had noteworthy appearances. They couldn't have done something like that for Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon? I'm never letting that go. Not until they come back. because that so far is one of the biggest mistakes this show has made. I'm not kidding. But either way, I'm not going to talk forever about that. This holiday special, it felt really, like, unnaturally fan servicey. And I know I just kind of said that I wish they had done something even more, but that's the thing. If they had done it more and made it very clear that that was the intention of the special to be fan servicey, that would have been a different thing, because that would have been kind of like Slice of Life was, a love letter to the fandom. Instead, it didn't feel natural with the amount and way they handled it. Either way. So yeah, there is that for sure. The other big issue I had was that while it was enjoyable to watch, I felt like a lot of this just didn't amount to much of anything. Like, the entire lesson about giving gifts from the heart has been done before, and honestly in a much better way, with the entire episode with Rarity going with Pinky and Maud for their Sister Day. I think that was a much better example of how to do that kind of lesson. So this lesson was done before. It didn't need to be done again. And yes, that kind of lesson would work for a Christmas-themed episode. But it just felt unnecessary. This entire special felt like it didn't amount to anything. It introduced a new race of characters, these three reindeer, I guess, spirits? It's not entirely clear. They're like the ultimate gift givers or something. Are they supposed to be like some kind of Santa-like figure? Something in that kind of vein. Obviously not quite Santa, but it almost looked like Pinky was at the North Pole there. That's kind of what that came across to me as. And it's like, was that supposed to be going that way? But it also kind of reminded me of what are they called? The three women in Greek mythology who see the past, present, and future. I can't think of what they're called. They're in the Disney Hercules movie. Because Hades goes to them. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. But it kind of made me think of like them. Almost mixed, like them mixed with Santa. But at the same time, it's like nothing was ever actually said about what they are. And I don't think they're going to appear again. I think they felt like characters made specifically for this special. And I've never liked it when a special, like a holiday special like this, shoehorns in something big like this. The show even outright said it was like a reindeer ex machina, I think is exactly the words Discord used. And it kind of was. That's the thing. It was meant as a joke, but it was. The fact that all their problems were just solved that easily, it feels cheap. There were a lot of characters who were shown in the background that I feel it would have benefited from having at least a small speaking role. Like, Trixie and Starlight were shown a couple times in the episode together. I would have liked to see them have, like, just a small line or two. Maybe have it, like, so that they're going out to hang out and spend some time and they say goodbye to Twilight or something. Like, oh, hey, like, Twilight's, when she's worrying and running all over the place, maybe have them heading out and they say bye to her and then maybe, like, roll their eyes as they walk out as she continues to freak out. That would have been fantastic. And it wouldn't have taken long to put in. But it's like, there are a few things like that. Now, I understand they couldn't necessarily get William Shatner to reprise his role as Grandpere, but there's a lot of characters who could have just done a little more. I feel there's a lot of missed opportunity, and just all in all, this special didn't do as much as I really wish it could have. Again, it wasn't bad. if I were to give it a rating like I give episodes of a season, I give all episodes of a season an out of 5 rating, you know? So if I were to give this an out of 5 rating as well, I'd probably give it probably around a 3.7, 3.8. So it's maybe a 4.0 if I'm being generous, because I did enjoy a lot about it. The songs were good, for example. A 4.0 at the absolute max, though. I'd say somewhere between 3.7 and 4.0, which is still pretty good. That's still pretty good. But all in all, it could have just been much better. I mean, when Christmas time rolls around this year, I'm not going to go back to this episode. I'm going to go back to the other ones. I'll go back to Hearts Warming Club over this. I'll go back to A Heartswarming Tale. Stuff like that. This is probably, I mean, other than maybe the first Heartswarming episode we had, Heartswarming Eve, this is probably my least favorite. Heartswarming episodes of the show are usually fantastic. This one just, I don't know, it feels like it dropped the bar a little. And another thing to note, the students, they were shown very briefly in it. With how important the students have been lately, with the show kind of focusing so heavily on them, they definitely should have had at least a small speaking line in this. I get it. They wanted to focus on the main 6 and Spike. And Discord for some strange reason. I get it. The main 6, kind of the main characters above everyone else. But still, it just, they could have added something with the students in. Something where they said something. And I get they were going back to their homes for the holiday. And that's another thing to note. That raises a big question. When does this take place? Because there was a Heartswarming episode this past season. Did the students get to go home after all? And if so, what happened to Gallus? Because I thought they were going to stay to have Heartswarming at Twilight's table. She did say that, right? Did they get to go home after all, and maybe they would just come back for, like, Heartswarming Day? Or maybe just for dinner or something? Because if we're supposed to believe this is a different Heartswarming, there's a lot that doesn't add up there. That raises way too many questions. So that's an issue I have with this as well. Because we saw Yona in Yakistan. We saw Ocellus in the Hive. And presumably the others all went home too. Because I think we saw them heading towards the train or something. Something like that. Either way, it raises questions. And I might be misremembering something, but I swear, I think Twilight said, originally they were all going to stay. Because they weren't owning up to their mistakes. And then when Gallus admitted he did it, it's like, I thought that like he was going to stay in, but the others agreed to stay with him. And I thought that's what was going to happen. Because, and Twilight said, oh, you're all invited to have Heartswarming at our table. And it's like, doesn't that mean they are staying? It's, I'm just so confused as to all of that. Again, if you can clarify, please let me know in the comments below, but if this is supposed to be the same Heartswarming, or there's some issues with that, I feel. If it's supposed to be a different Heartswarming, there's even more issues. It's like, what, this is supposed to be a year later? It would have to be later. It couldn't be a year earlier. I just have way too many questions at this point. And that's the problem, I think, with this special. It raises way too many questions and doesn't give enough answers. And for a one-off special that I don't think is probably going to have much of any consequence on future episodes, that's not good. I think that this was this was definitely lacking. And it's disappointing. It is disappointing. I don't expect every episode or special or whatnot of MLP to be phenomenal. I just don't. But I don't know. I expected a little more than this, you know? I just wanted more. I wanted better. And also, just one last thing, because this is getting too long as it is. The entire thing with Derpy did really throw me off. I know that that's a minor thing, I'll admit. That's more of a nitpick on my end, but the way she was speaking, like, the voice was almost pretty much the same, but the way she was speaking, the way she was speaking very slowly, like, really bothered me. For two reasons. One, it was notably different from the last time she spoke, which was in Slice of Life. But also, in Slice of Life, she had a voice that was a little silly and funny, but it was just a voice, basically. In this one, she's speaking slowly and having this weird drawl to her. And I hate to say it, but it almost comes across as the issue that a lot of people had with Derpy in the first place. Like, the entire reason Derpy was censored way back when. People complained, even with the Kieran episode, that the entire thing Applejack did with talking to them slowly was insensitive. And I feel like this is an insensitive portrayal for Derpy. To a small degree. It's not, like, super offensive. But it kind of comes across as really off-putting compared to how she was voiced before. Now, I don't know if this was something that Tabitha chose to do. I don't know if this is the way it was written in the script, in which case it would be the writers. I don't know if this was something Hasbro chose to do or not. I don't know what that came from. Also, by the way, I don't know who wrote this. I don't remember if I saw who wrote this at any point. I'll just check the credits, because I don't even know where it would be in the beginning. But yeah, it felt like kind of just off to me in that portrayal. And as I kind of said, the entire episode kind of felt a little off. It just, I don't know, it wasn't as good as it could have been. I feel like it could have been much better. Let me see if I can try to find the writer. I am kind of curious here.
Worked out, and a lesson was learned.
Oh crap,
There's no need to obsess.
Sorry about that. I thought I muted it already. I want to know who wrote this. I'm kind of curious. Okay. Michael Vogel helped with the lyrics of the songs. That doesn't tell me who wrote this episode, though. Yeah, I'm not finding it. Let me check real quick. Because I'm really legitimately curious. Yeah, it did feel like they tried too much, but didn't put as much effort into it as they should have. No, I'm not looking for comic-wise. Now this is going to give me trouble in this way. I'm just trying to figure out who wrote the episode. Yeah, again, I didn't hate it. It was still enjoyable. But I just feel like it could have been so much better, and there was way too many issues with it. I'm not one of those people who will just forgive a lot of those issues just because I enjoyed it. While enjoyment is my #1 factor in all of this, I can't just ignore this kind of stuff. I am not having luck finding the person who wrote this. Come on! Oh my goodness. Okay. I want to find this before I quit out of this, you know? It shouldn't be this hard. It should not be this hard to find the author of an episode. Or writer, rather. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it was just, all of it was written by Mike Vogel. I just really feel it dropped the bar in the end. Again, it wasn't terrible by any means. But it just, I feel it needed to be better, and it wasn't. And it sucks because Michael Vogel has written some pretty good episodes. Like, just this past season alone. He wrote What Lies Beneath. He wrote The Mean Six. He wrote School Days. And then, like, last season, he even wrote some good ones, if I remember right. Or no, maybe not last season. Maybe it was season 6. Yeah, it was season 6. He wrote the season 6 finale, From There and Back Again. I mean, that's a great one. He did Every Little Thing She Does. He helped write Stranger Than Fan Fiction. Okay, he did help The Cart Before the Ponies. So there was that one. That's a sour spot on his side. But he wrote A Heartswarming Tale. You know, the heartswarming episode where it was basically a Christmas Carol. That was an amazing episode. That's one of my favorites. And then he goes along and writes... He helped write the screenplay for the My Little Pony movie, and then he writes this. It's like, this was definitely one of his worst works. So I'm sorry, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped I would. Maybe I'll enjoy it more on multiple rewatches. Maybe you guys can help me figure out some of this stuff, and maybe some of it's not as bad as I'm thinking, but it's just, it has issues. So, tell me in the comments below what you thought of the best gift ever, the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic 2018 Holiday Special. And thank you all so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See you all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live, love, laugh.